DJ, what's the big focus when it comes to team defense and clamping things down a bit?
Yeah, I think everyone just getting on the same page and playing as a unit of five out there. I think just being in good spots. If there's a turnover that we can, cover and try to shut things down quick.
What's the feel around the group? What are you sensing in terms of urgency and in terms of getting this on track here?
Yeah, I think everyone knows, where we're at. And, there's a fine line between, gripping it too tight and just getting it back on track. So, it's just a matter of finding that.
It's been a few years, but does it still feel special to play against Calgary?
No, it just feels like another game. Just got to, treat it like any other game.
What's the big challenge they bring tonight?
Yeah, obviously, off the rush, they got active D, and as soon as pucks turn over, they're looking to jump. So just being aware of that.
What's it like working with Brad Treliving? Like, what stands out about him?
I think just, off the ice, how he treats you. If something's going on in your personal life, then, he's there, and, he's just easy to talk to.
How much have you heard from him as you guys have been going through this kind of uneven stretch to start the season? How much do you hear from him in a time like this?
Nothing more than usual. Obviously, we all know what needs to be done, and the position that we're in.
How do you feel about your own game? I know it was a difficult summer on the personal front. How do you feel things have come along for you?
Yeah, I feel pretty good out there physically. Obviously there's always things to work on and improve and get better at, and it's just a matter of doing it.
How much do you feel the increased PK reps in practice will help you guys get that element of the game in order?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of everyone being on the same page, getting the clears when they're there, communicating when guys maybe have time to take that extra second to make sure you get it all the way down the ice, and that's key for us.
Auston, what's the focus for the group when it comes to team defense, tightening things up, moving forward here?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously something we got to lock down a little bit, and just have better awareness. I think just the cohesiveness and communication out there and of all five guys is important, and definitely an area that we've been struggling in, so something that we'd like to clean up.
What specifically can you guys as forwards do to help out back end there?
I think communication is a big key, but I think just closing quicker and giving the opposing team less time and space to get rolling around, and I think just awareness of who's out there, where they are, and I think just the time and space is a big thing.
What's the mindset of the group coming into these last two games before Sweden, given how the last 6 games have gone?
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for us to take care of business here at home and take it one game at a time. I think we're aware of how things have been going and the areas that we need to clean up, and it's on us to do that. And we know what we're up against. Got 2 games before, like you said, going to Sweden. So we'd obviously like to finish strong.
I know it's been hard to celebrate something like this, the way things have gone for the team recently, but you've entered the top 10 in the team scoring, joining Mitch. You talked a bit about that milestone, that both of you are doing it at the same time.
Yeah, it's great. I don't know. I think it's a big honor. Like I've said before, I mean, it's a storied franchise. Obviously, a lot of great players that come before us, so it's an honor to be in that category or with what you're saying. So yeah.
What's it like working with Brad Treliving during the season? What have you enjoyed about that experience?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, he's been really solid so far, and he's around. He's an easy guy to talk to, communicate with, and I think we know what he expects from us, and I think that message has always been very clear. So I think it's been really solid.
As a team, you guys have had slow starts before. How much can you draw upon that to kind of get things back on track?
Yeah, it's never fun to go through stuff like this, but sometimes the adversity is works out better for you in the long run just to go through something like this early on, and not that it's ever ideal. You'd like to, be clicking right away, and when things slip, get it right back. But sometimes that's not the case. So, I think for us, the focus is just on our game tonight, cleaning up the things defensively as a unit that we can, and just going out and competing and putting in a good effort.
What's it like going up against Hannafin? Are you guys still in touch and close? What's that like?
Yeah, it's always fun. I mean, all those guys, we had a tight team there at the national program, so it's always fun playing against each other, and a lot of us still keep in touch and catch up after games.
What stands out about his game, Hannafin, you have to be aware of tonight?
Yeah, he's fast. He's very strong. He's always up in the rush offensively. He'll skate right by. He's extremely powerful. So, defensively, he's strong around the net as well. So, he's a guy you got to be aware of out there.
Willie created quite a stir with a picture of him on the subway outside of taking the subway to practice. Have you ever done anything like that?
No, I usually like to give myself enough time to get to the rink, and I don't know if he's in the same category there. So I think the weekday games, he'll find himself on the subway every once in a while. But I don't blame him. I mean, it's probably better than sitting in traffic for an extended period of time. But yeah.
What do you think tonight's going to be like for Brad Treliving?
Yeah, I think it's probably a game he's been looking forward to. A little bit weird, I'd imagine, being in Calgary for so long. But yeah, I'm sure it's. I know it's when it happened, when I went through it, it's just like you're happy to see the familiar faces that you're around for so long. A lot of friends and over there, but I'm sure this one means a little bit extra to treat for us to get that win tonight. We're playing the old squad, so it's important.
I know you've been asked about it in the past, but just from a different vantage point, what's it been like being reunited with you?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I think we had a great relationship, obviously, in Calgary. That's carried on over throughout the past few years, even though we haven't, I haven't been playing and working together on the same team. I think Tree's type of guy you keep in touch with, whether it be through texts or calls. Just a guy who has done a lot for myself in my career, and I think the guys here are realizing what type of person and what type of guy he is. He's an easy guy to talk to, an easy guy to get along with, but you can just tell he cares about his players, and that relationship continues whether you're in the same team or off the team, and I'm sure it's the same for those guys over there.
What's he been like early this season? What's the kind of sense you get from him?
All the same. He's very obviously. Tree's very intense. Wants to do what he can do to help the team, and just there as a guy you can talk to, a guy you can lean on if you need some advice, but he's pretty honest with the boys too. Like he tells you what he feels and go from there. And then at the end of the day, it's on us as players, right, to make it happen. So he's been pretty consistent in that from my time working with Tree, but it's been good. I mean, obviously we're not where we want to be as a team to start the season here, but I think that side of it, he's been really consistent and really easy to, I think, for guys to approach him and talk to him and get his feel on what's going on.
What are these games like for you? Still extra nerves or butterflies, or just old hats at this point? Or?
You know what? There's a lot of guys still there that I played with for a long time, so you always, it's like your brother. You never want to lose to the guys that you're closest with. That gives them bragging rights and all that sort of thing. But tonight, more importantly, we got to get back to our game as a team here. So it's always a funny feeling, playing a team that you're a part of for so long. But just trying to use that as energy tonight and motivation to get our game going. Myself as an individual, but also our team. More importantly, our team collectively.
Who's closest with us?
Oh God, it was the older crew was like me, Stage, and the boys, but I would say probably right now it would be like guys like Hanifin, Anderson, Mangiapane, Lindholm, like the guys I played with for a bunch of years. Tanev, Markstrom, like Backlund, obviously. Can't forget Bax, he'll be mad at me. But all those guys, I mean, you develop good relationships with them. But you know, when we get on that ice, it's a hard battle because you don't want to give those guys an inch out there or lose to them. So it'll be a fun game to play.
Our best, you know, obviously not our best last game against a big rival. So yeah, you know, I think we can't just keep winning one and losing a couple and putting a few good periods together. I think we got to start stringing a bunch of games together here. It's a good time to do it on a back-to-back at home.
What stands out to you about the Flames?
They're a hard-working team. That the last couple games they've been playing well. They kind of found their rhythm and played a couple good games here. So when a team like that who's struggling at the beginning starts feeling it, you gotta be careful for those teams because they start humming. So we know they're going to have their best. We got to make sure we do.
Right. What was the message to you yesterday? Getting a bit of extra work in practice.
No, that was me wanting some extra work. Yeah.
What do you like making out of that?
I think sometimes when you're playing every other day, practices are shorter, practices are more structured, things that you got to work on, and so you're not touching the puck as much. I'm a guy that I need to touch the puck to kind of stay in games. Sometimes I don't play a lot, and you just feel like over the course of a couple days, you just haven't seen the puck, and so just getting touches and reintroducing myself.
So just a lineup update first, which I imagine you're going to ask about. McCabe is good to go. He'll be in tonight. John Klingberg's been working through some injuries here the last little bit, so today is a chance for us to give him some time to work through that. We'll have a better sense of where he's at tomorrow, but he won't play tonight. Otherwise, lineup's the same.
12-6 then.
12-6.
What I guess is the challenge with McCabe on the right side of Gio in that second pair for him coming back in that spot?
Yeah, I mean 6 left shots tonight, so there's some challenges there for sure playing the offside. Caber's done it at different times. He spent a good portion of his time in Chicago playing on the offside. I suspect that D will move around here today, but as I'm saying, with the 6 left shots, either way, you're going to have some guys playing in not their natural side. But Laguson's done that a bunch since he's been up here, and he's done a good job of it. We're trying not to overthink that one. Just for Caber, it's just nice to have him back.
How long has Klingberg been working through injuries?
Quite a while here. He's nothing obviously that's kept him out of the lineup, but it's something that we want to give him an opportunity to work through and have a better sense of exactly what's going on and where he's at.
The training camp injury?
I don't even recall that. I don't think so, no.
So that had an impact on his play then, you think, Sheldon?
Well, yeah, we think so. It certainly hasn't helped him. That's part of what we're talking about with when I talked the other night about protecting him better. It's part about our team play and the other guys on the ice, but it's also just knowing what he's been working through and trying to help him with that.
What's the challenge the Flames bring tonight?
Well, the challenge is that they're trending up, and I think they're developing some belief in what they're doing. They've outplayed their competition pretty good in the last 3 games that they've played and coming off a couple wins. Look at their team, and I was talking to Tree a little bit this morning. I did a pretty good job building this team. It's deep down the middle, deep on defense, competitors all through the group. So there's challenges there with the center depth they have, the defensive depth they have. They got lots of guys that can move well, help on offense, and also compete and do a good job defensively. So, yeah, there's some challenges there. Probably the biggest one, though, is, like as I said, they're trending up and I think developing belief in what they're doing. It's possible the players have revenge games against former teams. Is it possible for a general manager to have a revenge game through you guys? I don't know. Tree's not giving me any vibes like that. He's one thing I've learned about Tree very quickly is that he develops very deep and close relationships with those that he works with. and he's still very much connected and cares a lot about the people that are still there in Calgary. So I'm sure this one is a challenging one for him here. But as I said, I know that he has a great deal of respect for everyone in that organization.
So he didn't paste 20 to the board this morning?
No.
Well, only 2 games, but what's the biggest difference you've noticed in Nick Robertson's recall this season compared to past times?
I think if I focus on his first game, I think his first game was as polished a game that he's played in terms of how he managed the puck, the decisions that he made with it. He's always had great energy and great pace, but the game has always been a little bit scattered, and it looked really good and organized despite playing with, as Max Domi's first game in center and all that. But I thought the second game the other night, not as the same level of polish to it, but I just think there's a greater level of maturity there in terms of knowing when it's time to make a play and find a play, and time to put the puck into a spot where you got to really work to get it back, but also take care of it. So I think that's all part of being an NHL player, is knowing those pieces. Looks to me like he's not come in focused, putting his offense first. It's more about the game, and we've talked a lot with him over the years about that. That's a big part of the NHL game. You're not going to be able to score and make your mark on the game offensively every day, but on every single shift you'll have multiple opportunities to affect the game positively. And to me, he's done that well here in the early going.
What's it been like working with Brad as you've worked through some issues this season? Reaves was just saying he appreciates that he's very calm, like there's no sense of panic with him.
Yeah, he's a very experienced guy, so I think he's seen a lot of it through ups and downs and whatever the league can throw at you. I think he's dealt with it. Communicates very well. He's very engaged, very involved. He's around. He asks questions. He communicates his observations. So I've really enjoyed it. I think everybody in the organization, players and staff alike, feel cared for. But also feel that he's there and he knows what's going on, so that he can really try to give us what we need to do our job.
Ken Hitchcock will be here tonight as part of the Hall of Fame game. He's known as a coach who shares a lot. Have you talked to him ever, and what's your take on his career?
I've never spoken to him like individually or anything like that, but I've attended some conferences that he's been at, and some of my work with Hockey Canada back in my OHL and Junior A days, and he was heavily involved in sharing information with young developing coaches that are coming up through the Hockey Canada system, and I was a benefactor of that. But he's made his mark all over the game and all over the league. And there's many stories and many things that come with it. So even when you don't know him, you feel like you do, because it's his mark is on the game. He's had so much success, and he's developed and worked with so many great coaches. So for he and all the other inductees, this is a tremendous chance for us to acknowledge their contributions, and it's special being here in Toronto that we get to take part in this every year. Certainly thrilled for Hitch and all of them.
Sheldon, there's always an adjustment period for new players joining a team, and I'm curious what your message has been throughout here in the opening month to Tyler and Max and John. John's hurt now, but in terms of not putting too much pressure on themselves and finding their way.
Yeah, it's just try to get out of their heads and focus on the things we're talking about. Like it's, and this is like we keep flip-flopping a little bit here in terms of some of the narratives, right? Some of the narratives, hey, we need more secondary scoring. Start to get a little more secondary scoring. Hey, you need to keep the puck out of the net. So let's just focus on having good shifts and playing good games and being more efficient. I talk about, I think Max and Bert are trending up. And I think Bert's coming off his best game. Max has had his 2 best games while playing center, and it's really helped our third line. I think it's started to have our team trending up. So I think, it's just a matter of, hey, let's just focus on the things we're talking about that can help our team. And, we've come back here the last couple of games. We've given up a lot of goals, and defensively at times it hasn't been great. But as I was sort of alluding to, while those other guys are trending up, I feel like our game's trending up, and we're close. You know, when I really look at it, when I say we're trending up, and you look at the amount of goals we've given up, it doesn't sound like it makes much sense, but when you go through the video and you go through the stats and you look at all these different things, if you look at what we've given up in the last 2 games defensively, and if those 2 games are what we've done all season, we would have the number 4 defensive team in terms of scoring chances against. Like, that's the model. It's close. So I think when our attention to detail is consistent shift to shift, and we don't have the big lapses, and then that play is matched with solid goaltending, this is going to flip, and the puck's going to stay out of our net, and our team's going to get rolling. So we're just going to continue to focus on that and minimize our mistakes, try to recognize through some of the chaos that's been going on with what we've had with pucks going in our net, that there are good things happening, and the model of what we've been in the past is not as far away as it may seem.